The moment Marcus threw himself between the gunman and the woman he was hired to protect, he didn't think about the daughter waiting for him at home. He didn't think about the bills stacked on his kitchen counter or the fact that this was only his second week on the job. He just moved, because that's what fathers do. They protect. Marcus Chen had spent 6 years protecting his country in the Marine Corps and the last 2 years protecting the only thing that mattered anymore, his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. After his wife passed from cancer, the world had shrunk to homework help, braided pigtails that never quite sat right, and the constant juggling act of being both mom and dad. The transition from military service to single parenthood had been brutal, but Marcus had faced down worse. At least, that's what he told himself during the 3 a.m. worry sessions about Lily's future. The job offer from Sentinel Security had seemed too good to be true. Executive protection paid 3 times what he made at the warehouse, and the schedule meant he could still make Lily's school pickup most days. His handler had been vague about the client, just a high-value individual requiring discreet protection during a corporate transition. Marcus didn't ask questions. He needed the money, and he knew how to keep people safe. He'd expected some trust fund socialite or a politician's spouse. Instead, the woman who opened the door of the downtown penthouse wore yoga pants and an oversized MIT sweatshirt, her dark hair pulled into a messy bun. She looked exhausted and real in a way that caught him off guard. "Mr. Chen, I'm Elena." She extended her hand with a firm grip that spoke of someone used to command. "I apologize for the secrecy. I'm between you and 2 very angry shareholders who'd love to see me disappear." Over the following days, Marcus learned that Elena Vasquez wasn't just wealthy, she was brilliant. At 34, she'd built next-gen solutions from a garage startup into a billion-dollar tech company specializing in affordable medical devices for underserved communities. The corporate transition his handler mentioned. Elena was fighting a hostile takeover from competitors who wanted to strip the company for parts and abandon its humanitarian mission. "They think'll fold if they make things uncomfortable enough," she explained one evening, reviewing legal documents at her dining table while Marcus stood post by the window. 3 death threats this month. My board is terrified. Why not just sell?" Marcus asked, then caught himself. "Sorry. Not my place." "No, it's a fair question." Elena set down her pen, meeting his eyes with an intensity that made something in his chest tighten. "Because there's a single mother in rural Kentucky who can afford her son's insulin pump because of what we built. There's a clinic in Mississippi that can offer prenatal care because our equipment costs 1/10 of what the big manufacturers charge. If I sell, those people become line items to be eliminated for profit margins." Marcus understood sacrifice for a greater good. He also understood what it meant to fight for someone who depended on you. The routine they developed was professional but comfortable. Elena worked 18-hour days, and Marcus matched her schedule, ensuring every car was checked, every entrance secure, every meeting attended with heightened awareness. But somewhere between the morning coffee runs and late-night document reviews, something shifted. Elena asked about his daughter, listened intently to his stories about Lily's obsession with dinosaurs and her fierce determination to be a paleontologist. In return, she shared her own journey, immigrant parents who'd worked 3 jobs to put her through school, the pressure to prove herself in every room she entered, the loneliness of leadership. "I used to think making it to the top meant I'd finally feel secure," she admitted one night, her voice soft in the dim light of her home office. "But success just painted a bigger target on my back. It also gave you the power to help people who need it," Marcus replied. "That counts for something." The way she looked at him then, like he'd said something profound instead of obvious, made his pulse quicken in a way that had nothing to do with security protocols. Everything changed on a Thursday. Elena had a meeting with potential investors at a downtown restaurant, her last hope for securing the funding to buy out the hostile shareholders. Marcus had scoped the location, positioned himself near her table with clear sightlines to all exits. The meeting was going well. Then the front door burst open. The man was agitated, shouting about corporate greed and stolen opportunities. Marcus saw the gun before anyone else reacted. Training took over. He closed the distance in 3 strides, putting himself between Elena and the weapon just as the shot fired. The impact spun him sideways, a burning line across his ribs rather than the center mass hit it could have been. He took the shooter down hard, muscle memory executing the disarm even as pain exploded through his side. The chaos afterward blurred together, police, paramedics, Alina's face above him, pale and terrified, her hands pressing against his wound while she begged him to stay awake. Please, Marcus. Please. Lily needs you. I need you to, just stay with me. He woke in a hospital room to find Elena asleep in the chair beside his bed, her hand wrapped around his. The morning light caught the tear tracks on her cheeks, and something in Marcus's carefully constructed walls crumbled. This brilliant, powerful woman who fought for strangers had spent the night keeping vigil over him. When her eyes opened, the relief that flooded her face was unmistakable. You're awake. Thank God, you're awake. Her voice cracked. That was the stupidest, bravest, most impossibly heroic thing I've ever seen. Don't you ever do that again. Kind of my job description, he managed, his throat dry. It shouldn't be. Not like that. She squeezed his hand tighter. Marcus, I've spent my whole life trying to prove I was strong enough, smart enough, period. But watching you almost die because of me, I realized I've been confusing strength with being alone. You throw yourself in front of danger for your daughter every day just by showing up, by loving her through your grief. And last night, you did it for me too. That's not just courage. That's heart. Over the next week, as Marcus recovered, the truth came out. The shooter had been paid by Alina's corporate rivals to scare her into surrender. Instead, the incident had made her a sympathetic figure. Public support surged. Investors rallied. The hostile takeover collapsed, and next-gen solutions emerged stronger than ever, with Elena firmly at the helm. But none of that mattered as much as the afternoon Elena visited his apartment, bringing soup and meeting Lily for the first time. Marcus watched his daughter quiz Elena about her company's 3D printed prosthetics with the same intensity she applied to dinosaur facts, and saw Elena answer with patience and genuine interest. When Lily declared that Elena was pretty smart for a grown-up, and hugged her goodbye, the look Elena gave him over his daughter's head held a question and a promise. So, Elena said after Lily bounced off to play, I've been thinking. Next Gen needs a head of security. Someone who understands that protecting people is about more than just physical safety, it's about protecting what matters. The pay is excellent, and the position comes with flexible hours for school pickups and dinosaur research projects. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Is this a professional offer? It starts as one. Elena stepped closer, her voice dropping. But I'm hoping it becomes something more. I spent so long building walls to prove I didn't need anyone. Then you showed me that needing someone isn't weakness, it's being brave enough to be human. I don't know where this goes, but I'd like to find out. If you're willing. Marcus thought about the years of playing it safe, of shrinking his world to avoid more loss. Then he thought about the lesson he wanted to teach his daughter, that courage means risking your heart even when you've already lost so much, because sometimes the greatest protection we can offer each other is simply showing up. I'm willing, he said, and pulled her into a kiss that tasted like second chances and coming home. 6 months later, as Marcus stood beside Elena at a ribbon-cutting ceremony for NextGen's new community health initiative, with Lily proudly holding the ceremonial scissors, he realized that protection had always been about more than preventing harm. It was about creating space for hope, for connection, for the messy, beautiful work of building something worth defending. And in Elena's hand tucked into his, in his daughter's delighted laughter, he'd found everything worth fighting for.